What's up, everybody out there in the interwebs? This is Tony, the Rad Rican from the Rad Toy Collector Show. Uh, we're doing the first of many to come video review segments. We are putting this out a little ahead of schedule, mainly because, in my opinion, it's a little bit of an emergency. Subject to this specific video review, brand new movie just hitting the theaters. We're talking about the Venom movie today, right? Now, you know, you don't want to you don't want to just trash things. Any project of this size, a lot of people involved. There's a lot of talent, obviously. So I don't want to just serial bash this movie. Before I say a couple of things, we work in the corporate world, right? They do what they call a compliment sandwich. In this case, we're going to call it a crap sandwich, right? Because the middle is essentially where I'm going to be airing my grievances. So what we'll do is say a couple of things that the movie did right. Then I'll talk about my grievances, and then you know maybe put a positive spin at the end of it, because the truth of the matter is I really don't have a lot of good things to say about this movie. So before I jump off of this, as far as like movie comic book film fans go, where I fall in that particular category, because a lot of people like to be polarized on the subject, where it's like I'm either super Marvel or super DC or super whatever it is. Truth is, I'm yay for everything. I'm team all things comic book movie. All right, I love the MCU. I even like most of the bad movies. Iron Man 3 is one of those ones that was just like, it just wasn't a very good movie. But for the most part, I'm happy with the MCU has produced. I liked the original X-Men movies. I liked the original Spider-Man movies, with the exception of Spider-Man 3 was a little bit on the cheese side, right? I'll touch back on that here later. And then, on the DC spectrum, I'm one of those people that I like Justice League. I liked Man of Steel. I liked Wonder Woman. I liked Batfleck. I thought that they did the best that they could with those movies and what they were trying to do. So the deal is that just to explain, that's where I stand. I'm very gracious with like where the criticism that I give these movies. That being said, uh, you know, sometimes people just make a bad movie. Going into it, we got some trailers. My skepticism kind of started there. Let me wrong. The CGI, the animation that was on it. Here's a look at that. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's better than the Spawn movie that came out all those years ago. It is, of course, technology has gotten considerably better since they made that Spawn movie. But this is what it reminded me of, was, you kind of have the same, and that's to be expected. The symbiote is, in essence, living slime, and for the living slime to, look realistic, it's gotta, have, the wet looking out exterior, and I think they nailed all of those things. As far as the look, they the missing white spider, and the patches on the hand, the quintessential Venom stuff not being present. I understand why they didn't put it in there. They were, we have to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man. It's already, you're already attempting a feat in and of itself, trying to push that through just like that, right? The so I understand why that stuff isn't there. I kind of expected to take a leap from the source material somewhat, but I feel like, the Lethal Protector comic book and, all the things they did with Venom on his own gave them plenty of stuff to pull from, especially since they could, like, go directly into the war with the other symbiotes, maybe come up with a good explanation for all of that, and take it that way if that's really what they were going to do. I got to say, though, I went into this, trying to be, kind of with the same attitude I approached the new Star Wars movie. It was like, I wanted to like them. I wanted to like them. I have a 9-year-old little boy. I wanted to like them for him, because I didn't get any of this stuff. Some of you older guys, people that are, in the generation that I'm in, you remember what movies were like, prior to the MCU and prior to like the first X-Men Spider-Man movies coming out. Even you know, they weren't they they weren't fantastic. A lot of the stuff that we still love, is painted with lenses of nostalgia to give it a little bit more credibility. But if we're looking at it, honestly, rewatch those movies now, some of them really weren't great. Uh, the Venom movie, though, it starts out, things happen. I'm gonna keep this review spoiler free as I can, because I know that's a big deal with you guys, and I'm not trying to get the heat from that. So I will be omitting specific details, even though to make my argument, I feel like you would have to say some of these details. But I'm not gonna. I'll have a more in depth conversation about this probably. We'll go on the podcast or on the show. So make sure you're checking out radtoycollector.com and the YouTube channel to see that when it comes out. So spoiler free without completely just bashing it, over the head with a club. It just wasn't very good. They had a lot of prep time. They had a stellar cast, as far as I'm concerned. They had all the resources one would need to make a good movie. And that's where they failed at. They did not make a good movie. I can accept taking creative license with some of the minor and and major character points that go along with the property they're making a movie about, but it was written badly. The conversations, the way people interacted, the minor characters, the way they deal with people. There was some cool stuff that happens. There's some interesting things. They do make take some. There's some stuff that looks like it came directly off of the frame of or out of a scene of a Venom comic book. Some of the I don't want to get into it, but there's some of the stuff that happens, and you're like, whoa, well, that's cool, and there was a lot of that, oh, well, that's cool, but there wasn't a point in the movie where I was just like, wow, this is mind blowing, and they had so many opportunities to do it. It was just a poor movie. Now, one thing I will say that it did do well. They definitely it was definitely polished from the original product that we saw when we saw the trailer. That was not the final look of the movie. That was much better than what we saw initially. And some of the stuff, like if you compare the Venom from the Spider-Man 3 to the Venom that we got in this movie, appearance wise kind of blows it away. The Spider-Man 3 Venom was kind of silly looking, in my opinion. I was so amped for this. I don't know if any of you remember that when they were getting ready to release that movie, they released that trailer with the bell and the ooze dripping down and covering him up, and then he leaps at the screen. He got this big round of applause. But it's almost like when Superman Returns came out with Brandon Routh. They played the teaser for that, and it was Superman going Mach speed through the sky, and you hear the sonic boom. Everybody lost their minds, right? It was so excited for it, and then the movie was awful, and that happens, and that's essentially what happened here. The production value of it was good. They produced a very well produced movie. CGI was good, camera work, them trying to capture, what's going on in the various scenes and focusing on the, that stuff, was very well done. It wasn't, it was, very professional production. But no, was it a Venom movie? I don't think so. I'll say the symbiote, and they call it a symbiote. I'm gonna throw that out. We're gonna chalk that up to pronunciation. I'm not even gonna harp on that particular subject. But the symbiotes themselves reminded me. It was a movie that came out in the '90s called Spaced Invaders. Right. That's what the symbiotes reminded me of. Was the aliens in that movie as far as like personality? It was ridiculous. Okay. I'm not gonna say what symbiotes were there. You'll see. There's a couple of things that are kind of spoiled if you look at the IMDb page. And I will say this, and you can kill me for this if you feel like this is a spoiler. I think if you think this is a spoiler, then you're not paying attention. But like everybody knows, Woody Harrelson was Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, and I think that was the most disappointing part of the movie for me. Was I was expecting, because Woody Harrelson, Natural Born Killers, amazing actor, Zombieland, everything he's ever been in, I've loved. Oh my god, you'll just they were audible groans at multiple points in the movie. Audible groans. It was like when I saw Borat in the theaters and people were just like, oh, well, you can hear the eye rolls. I mean, your opinion may differ from mine. You're allowed to have a different opinion than me. And honestly, I expect for some people to push back, like, "Oh no, we got this or that," and because there's things when he's like running up buildings, and that looks pretty cool. And I'm not going to say there weren't things that were like cool looking. There were definitely things that were cool looking. The look of the overall look of things, the aesthetic, I guess, is the word to use for that, was pretty good. You know, but but I've seen fan fiction that was written better than this, and I just I can't give it any kind of approval. I will say that I've kind of been expecting the kind of comic book movie bubble to pop at some point or another, and I think that Thanos snap, all right, Infinity War was a little bit more than I think. I think I'm kind of expecting the general quality of this movie to start going down. It happens. It happened to westerns. It happened to all different movie genres, and maybe this was happening here. I don't know. Maybe they'll spin it around. Hopefully they do. I'd love to be watching comic book movies until I'm in my 70s. Maybe. So hopefully they get it right. Spider-Man: Homecoming knocked it out the park. Love that movie. This new Spider-Man Dimensions movie that they're making with all the different Spider-Man crossing over that's like CGI animated. Looks like it's going to be amazing. I'm very excited about that. I was excited for this Venom movie. Hey, not that I'm a huge Venom mark, but I played Maximum Carnage. I read the comic books. I was a Spider-Man fan as a kid. I definitely was invested, to a degree with the property that they made this movie about, and they just didn't do it. So my ending rating on this particular one, I'm choked up here. It's like burying a childhood friend. So I would say watch knowing that you're going to see something not great. Go into it with that. I'm not gonna boycott it. I'm not gonna, I do have some people that are like, nope, I'm gonna, everybody I come across there, I'm telling them, don't go see it. I'm not gonna say that. Go see it. Maybe you'll like it. I definitely didn't, and I don't know anybody that has seen it that did like it. So, if you've got a different opinion, love to hear it. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Leave us an email. Go to the website. Definitely, tune in. We're going to go into this in greater detail with some other voices on the podcast, Rad Podcast. You can check that out at Google Play, iTunes, or just go to the website again. Let us know what you think. We're always wondering what you think. So I want to say thank you to 8th Dimension Comics and the Marquee on Silver Knight 10 because they gave us the opportunity to see this movie, and thank God for not making me pay for it. You know what I mean? So, again, watch at your own risk, and hopefully they'll get it right next time. Thank you for watching, guys. This has been my review. We'll see you on the net, buddy. Take care.